Alrighty now. Out of all the Hondas, you want the 6th generation Civic? You are a hype beast. But behind all the hype, there is some truth, and it is a really good car. And even though a lot of them are riced out, you can still find a nice one for a pretty penny. And today I am going to tell you what to look for in the ones that are left that don't have a Type R badge, or don't have an underglow, or don't have 6 wings on the back of it. Because if you came to this video for justification on buying one of those, you ain't gonna get it. There's gonna be random drilled holes from wings, spoilers, vortex generators, you name it, it's been on the car, and that thing has been gone through like a dirty hooker.
Hello, hot stuff.
So this buyer's guide is made for the 6th generation Civics that have made it through the broke boy stage, and now we're getting into that collector's car area. But before we get into this video, make sure to like and subscribe if you're new down below, and if you want to play video games or just talk about cars, learn some stuff, go join the Discord down below. There's a lot of cool people in there. Let's get right into the video. So the 6th generation Civic was made from 1996 to 2000, only 4 years in the USA, and did they make a lot of them in those 4 years? Now I'm about to explain to you all the different trims. There's literally so many different trims, unlike any other car, and they all have 2 letters, and it can get super confusing. So don't worry, I'm about to clear up all the confusion so you know exactly which one you want. So first you're going to start off with the CX. This is going to be your best bet if you're planning on swapping it in the future. K-Series, LS, I don't care. This is what you need because it's a base model. You're not paying for the VTEC, you're not paying for the B-Series, you're just paying for the car itself. These came as a hatchback only, which I bet you'll love. And like I said, this is a bare bones car. There was no standard radio and no standard power steering. So this was a car that if you drove constantly, you might get a little bit stronger doing it. It came with 13-inch wheels, and thank God they didn't cut any corners there because it still came with 4 of them. It had 4-wheel double wishbone suspension, dual airbags, tinted windows, split folding rear seats, and it could seat up to 5 people in this small ass car. Next, you're going to be moving up to the DX trim. This was available as a hatchback, a coupe, and a sedan. It included all standard equipment from the CX, plus tilt steering and a FM and AM radio. And power steering came standard on all sedans and coupes if you got them in an automatic. If you want to step up from that, then it goes to the LX trim, and this is only a 4-door car. It included all the features from the DX, plus bigger 14-inch wheels, power windows, power locks, power mirrors, power steering. So if you like everything manual, this is definitely not the car to get. It also came with a front stabilizing bar, front center armrest, more storage compartments, cargo lights, you name it, it's there. This is like the Bentley of Civics. And all 3 of these trims came with a motor that made around 106 horsepower and 103 pound-feet of torque. Next, we're going to be moving up to the EX trim, and if you don't have enough money for an EM1 SI, then this is your second best bet. This came as either a coupe or a sedan, and it came with all the features from the LX, plus a higher horsepower single overhand VTEC motor that made 127 horsepower. You heard me right, 127. And 107 pound-feet of torque. But that's not all, because it came with a power sunroof, air conditioning. You could get ABS on this model, and in 1999 they added a CD player to this bad boy. Yes sir, a CD player. Now if you're big ballin' and you have enough money to buy the highest trim on the most broke boy car, you can get the SI, which was only available in the US in 1999 and 2000, and it only came as a coupe. But what made this trim different from all of the rest is it came with a high revving, dual overhead cam, a 1.6 liter B16 A2 that made 160 horsepower and 111 pound-feet of torque. The B16A2 made its peak horsepower at 8,000 RPMs and was capable of going as high as 8,200 RPMs. And the 0 to 60 on this car was 7.1 seconds. It's not too fast compared to nowadays cars, but in 2000, that was pretty good for a cheap sporty car. Now that we got all the trims out of the way, let's get into the common problems these cars have. And yes, I did say common problems, even though it is a Honda, it still has some. Not to the extent of like a BMW, but there's a few.
You know that the BMW is having an overheating issue.
And one of the number 1 problems you're gonna have to look for on these cars is rust. Pretty much any Honda from this era has the same problem, but the severity of it all depends on where you live. And if it came out of a rust belt state or any place with snow, make sure to check the wheel wells, and especially the rear ones, because those are the ones that have the most rust. This entire generation of 4 years of Civics had a really bad problem with window motors, so either get a Civic with crank windows, or you'll just have to deal with replacing the window motors every once in a while. If you're looking into getting a EM1 Civic SI. The number one problem there is going to be the engine mounts. Not only that these were kind of driven harder than the other trims, but also Honda used some subpar materials when designing these. Fortunately, it is a Honda and the aftermarket scene is vast, so you have like 25 million different companies to choose from for an engine mount, and that's literally the biggest problem you have to worry about on an SI. And the last common problem that you have to look for when looking for one of these cars is, what does the owner do with it? These cars were revved, were raced, were smashed, were drilled. You just have to look at the owner and think, did this guy take care of his car? Did he stop at every red light and just rev the crap out of it? Or did he actually, like do an oil change every 50,000 miles? And especially since these cars were really cheap not too long ago, a lot of these had turbo kits on them for a little bit. And although it might have given the car a boost in performance 5 years ago, you as the next owner will definitely have to pay for the wear and tear that the previous owner did with that turbo. And the last big problem, which is not really a big problem because you can get it fixed for free, is the Takata airbags. 5-10 years ago, around that range, people's airbags were exploding and shrapnel was going into their head. Yeah, these cars have those airbags, so just make sure to get that replaced, or just get an aftermarket steering wheel without an airbag. Either way, the common problems on these cars are few and far between, and if you're looking for a reliable car, you came to the right place. Now that we got all the common problems out of the way, let's talk about the rarer parts that will add value to the car that you're looking at. What you'll want to be looking for is any of the SI parts. Not only did these parts come on the SI, but they also came on the regular coupes if you paid more. But no matter if they come off an SI or any other trim, they would be worth about the same amount of money. First one's going to be the front lip. You've also got a rear lip and you got a spoiler. The SI also had a unique grille with mesh instead of fins. It also had painted side skirts, painted mirrors, side moldings, and around the rear license plate, things were paint matched there too. Now, like I said earlier, the aftermarket is vast and a lot of these things have replicas. So when you're looking at a car and he says, oh yeah, I have the SI lip, SI rear lip, make sure that they're authentic. Usually aftermarket ones are going to be made out of fiberglass. If they're made out of plastic, that's usually a good copy or an OEM piece. So no, I don't want you to go up and kick the car and see if it cracks, but just go up to the car and see if the material is plasticky or not. Now that we got all that out of the way, it's time for my favorite part of the video, the top 5 rarest colors you can get for your 6th generation Civic. You would never think that these colors would be on a Civic because they're just so cool. The number 1 rarest color you can get for this car is called Midori, and it is like no other color I've seen on a factory car ever. I mean, it honestly looks like it'd be on like a really expensive BMW color or like a really expensive, I don't know, some luxury car, but it's on a Civic. This would definitely be the one I'd be looking for. Number 1, because it's the rarest, and second, because it is a beautiful color. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen any car on the road that looks like this. Now the next 4 on the list aren't going to particularly be in any sort of order. They're just 4 other rare colors that you can get for this car. Next one is going to be DAP, also known as Dark Amethyst Pearl, and man, you know I love purple cars, so this is just right at home for me. Not only is it purple, but it's a really nice shade of dark purple. Nowadays you see one of these and they just look really bad because of the sun fading, but if you see one of these in really good condition, this car is so stunning. Now the problem is finding one of those in good condition. Next color on the list is Island Coral Pearl, which is also known as the ugliest color in the world. It looks like straight red brick sand that you'd find in like somewhere in Texas. And let me be clear, this is not the actual nickname for this color, but it does look just like rust. So I mean, getting a brand new car and it already looks like the whole car is rusted is just not a good color in my book. Now the 4th color on the list is Maloney Red. It only came on the SI, and does it look like a regular red? Yes. Is it rare? Yes. I think they only made like 7,000 of these, and a lot of these, especially since it's an SI, were stolen or scrapped just because they're easy to steal and they are highly valuable. So there's not too many left that are still clean, and if you find one that's clean, that is a true gem. And for the 5th spot, and probably by far my favorite color, and I think it's even better than Midori, is Plum Pearl. I mean, this color just screams luxury, and it's on a Honda Civic. This is something that you would see on a top luxury car with some saddle interior, and that would just look amazing. Now obviously they didn't have saddle interior because it's a Civic, but you get my point. It is just a pretty color, and I would never expect this to be on a Civic. Now I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe because it really helps me out. And if you have another car that you want to see a buyer's guide on, leave that in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.